Thank you for coming back to Rhubarb Yoga today. So today we are going to be looking at Paschimottanasana, or seated forward fold. It is a really important and vital pose to have in any practice, whether you are novice, don't know a great deal, or you practice regularly, as it's a release pose. The translation of Paschimottanasana is intense Western forward facing pose. Or you may have heard of intense seated forward fold too. Or you might not have heard of it at all. So let's not panic. The one vital thing is we'll need some props. Just as you prepare yourself to move into this pose, and be kind with yourself too. As we're going to be folding over, chest, belly, coming towards the thighs and the shins. It's not about how far you go. It's about the action of release, and that is all the pose is for. We can turn into ourselves when we go into the pose. It's can be classed as an inversion for some people, as you're folding the body over. The head is low, but it's a quiet pose. You cannot go into this full of energy and full of adrenaline. It's calming, it's releasing, and that's the value to the pose too. It releases the hamstrings, the lower back, and the hips as well, which is why it's vital, particularly if you practice a lot of back bends, to come into this afterwards. Works with the opposition of and the yin yang of our yoga poses. So we always work in balance, left and right, masculine, feminine, hot, cold, and it's the same with this pose too. So if we've been doing lots of back bends or arcing over, to come into this pose afterwards is a natural transgression, or transition, should I say, not transgression, definitely not. So let's look at it. I would totally recommend having a strap. If you don't have a strap, have a scarf, have a tie, the belt off a dressing gown, anything that is long that you can hold on to and that will hold you and you feel confident with. And also grab a couple of blocks. You never know if this is what you prefer to having a strap. So let's have a look. So, Paschimottanasana, or intense seated forward fold. The most important thing before we do anything else is to remove the flesh away from our sitting bones. Now this is not talking about the size of our glute. It has nothing to do with it. We all have sit bones in there, and we know. If you gently move the cheek of each bum side out, you will suddenly feel maybe a little bit of a nod, a little bit of a nodule, and that is your bones, your sitting bones. And they're what we're looking for you to rest on. If you only sit on the flesh of glute, you will be raised up, but you will not have that hinging mechanism of the hips, which is vital for this pose. We will be folding forward from the hips. We're not going to be curving over and slouching. It's important to elongate up, to open the hinge, ready to fold forward. So let's have a look at that. Also need to make sure when we breathe in, we're elongating the back body too. That we keep the spine nice and straight, so as we curve over and we bend from the hips, our back isn't curving. Because as our back curves, it can't release. And then so the same with the hips, going down into the hamstrings. If we're not releasing in the correct way, then we cannot expand and open the body in the right way. One important thing also with this is not to worry about how far this head is getting towards these knees and these shins. That's not at all what this is about. So let's take that focus away. Take the fear away of doubting yourself and your ability to create this pose yourself. So we're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to find those sit bones, and they are there. Trust me, if you didn't have them, you wouldn't be able to use your legs. So that's simple. Let's find those sit bones, and if you still need to adjust, please adjust. You can sit on a block to start this fold. So let's show that first. Let's sit on a block. It can be a blanket, it can be a cushion, it can be a folded up towel, anything that slightly lifts you up. And automatically, by sitting on that block, my spine is more vertical. So we're enacting that action that we need. So by coming upright, we feel upright. We can feel those sitting bones. Don't over-activate the legs. Let's think about the hinging action first. As we become closer to the shape, we will open and activate the feet. So we're now thinking about how our hinging mechanism works. So we have a couple of options with that. We can bring the knees closer to the chest to recognise that sensation. So let's take that one first. What we do is we'll wrap our arms underneath our thighs. Now they could be holding onto your elbows or your wrists or your forearms. And as we sit up, we elongate the spine. And as we elongate the spine, we elongate the front of the body too. And it's important, that part cannot be crunched and hunched over. It needs to be long and open so that we can access the opening we're looking for. So let's fold the arms underneath the knees and recognise that sensation of placing the chest against the thighs. And don't struggle and fight as long as you have hinged forward and the back is straight but not stiff. Let's shuffle the feet forward. So we're keeping in to this shape. We haven't got to do too much, and if we're feeling like we can move a little bit more, shuffle the feet forward again. There's nothing else we need to worry about at the moment. Relax the neck and take the tenseness away from the shoulders. The head and neck need to be open and away from the shoulders to increase that accessibility. So let's shuffle those feet forward one more time. Do it on the heels, and then we can possibly straighten the legs. If there's a slight bend and it's uncomfortable, remove the arms. And let's not worry about where the legs are. The back, we need to make sure that we've got the contact between thighs and the chest. And that's the whole point of shuffling the legs forward, is to keep that contact. And if this is not working for you, let's have a look at another method. So remove the block. And let's take our strap. So again, let's adjust. Let's find those sit bones. They are there. Let's get our strap, our tie, our belt, our dressing gown, and we're going to loop it around our feet. Not the balls of the toes, but just underneath the muscle of the toes, so that we can open and access the feet, but not pull them up away from the floor, which is not what we're looking at. Loop the strap or belt around your hands, and then sit up again. And this might actually give you that action of opening and coming straight up and feeling open around the hips for that forward fold too. So now we're here. Take a breath in, and as we breathe out with forward folding, because we need the belly to be empty. And by doing that, we also increase the contact and the muscle massage of all our inner organs as we're doing this forward fold. And by doing that, we're reaping further benefits. Our internal organs are getting a compression and massage, which means that they're stimulated. And by stimulating them, we're giving them a little bit of a health kick, and we get a health kick back. So let's have a look. Arms relaxed but not stiff, okay? Seating up. And as we forward fold from the hip, watch the hinge. As we come forward a little bit. If that's enough for you, that's fine, but we're arcing the back and we want the back to be straight, so shorten the strap again. Have another look. And forward fold. And if this is where you're going and you can't go any further, breathe in, relax the neck, and allow your body to access the shape. This is absolutely fine. But you feel that you've got some more space to move. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, fold a little deeper. And see how you're feeling. Are you feeling comfortable? If those legs are a little tight, put a tight, light bend in them. It's absolutely fine. And the longer you stay in the pose, the muscles will release, and you will be able to access maybe a little deeper. Relax the neck. Let the chest come towards the thighs. But don't reach for the shins. It's not about that. The release, here, here, and here, is that what we're looking for. Please take the pose to the depth that works for you. And if you don't need the strap after a while, you can use your hands and you can walk forward, taking your breath, and as you breathe out, allowing that space to become deeper. Keeping the neck away from the shoulders. We don't want hunch because it arcs the back. We want elongation to open the front to allow that body contact. It's not about hands coming to the feet either. This is Paschimottanasana A. So if our hands come close to our feet, we hook the big toes into something called yogi toe lock. Now yogi toe lock is quite simply thumb, first two fingers of both hands, and they go around the big toe, two fingers behind, thumb meets the tips of the fingers, and that is our yogi toe lock. So if you hear that, it's that simple. So if you come into Paschimottanasana, and as you practice it further, you may come deeper, the next part of it is to practice with the hands and fingers around the toes. So taking our breath, we may start with our hands along the sides of our legs, taking our breath in, and we may fold forward. And as we come forward, our arms maybe aren't that long. We then access the toes. Breathe in, and as we breathe out, we find more space. The elbows bend, and we come closer. And as we ease into it, the head may come towards the shins or the knees, and it can drop and release. If you get to that point and you still feel you have more accessibility, there is a further point of progress. And it's Paschimottanasana D, which is placing the hands at the sides and ends of the feet. It does not matter if you can't get there. It does not matter if you can't do yogi toe lock. If you can have your hands along the side of your legs or on a strap, and you can access the hinging of your hips and the fold of your body coming into some contact with your thighs, and there's an opening here, that is all you are looking for, and you have succeeded. So be proud of yourself however far you get. Now if there is part of this that you're coming into and you don't feel you can come closer, we can look at it in a different way, and we can take a block, we can place it between our legs, and we can turn this into a slightly more restorative pose, and this in itself will help the body release and your development of this pose to come a little deeper the further you practice. So place the hat, place the block between the legs. Don't place it between the kneecaps. If your legs come into a habit of squeezing, don't want to put any pressure on the kneecaps. They can cause you problems. So what we do is place our hands at the side, take our breath, elongate our spine, and as we breathe over, we can walk our hands alongside and we can come to rest our head on the block. It doesn't have to be that high. It can be as low as you wish. But by keeping it at the top height first, you're allowing the back to release without relying on the body to release. By taking the pressure and weight and gravity out of it and letting your head rest on the block, you're allowing the body to release in other areas. So coming forward, adjust it when your head comes towards it because you may not be quite in the right place for contact, and please move this wherever it feels comfortable. Not everyone likes a block on their third eye, on their forehead. Not everyone likes their nose to be slightly squashed. Not everyone likes their chin resting on something. So be brave and please adapt. So let's try this. And by doing this, the arms let go, the neck and the head soften. There's a spinal release as well, and you may start feeling just a little bit of softness around the hips, hamstrings, lower back, maybe even down to the calves. By taking this pose, you can allow the body to accept the position it's in without putting an expectation on yourself and saying, I need to be here, I need to hold on to my big toes, I've got to get down there. Absolutely not. The most important thing is that you come to it and you've tried. And if you try today and it works and you get to a place where you think, okay, I recognise that, then congratulate yourself. And if you can't, you are not the worst person in the world. It means it takes your body time to adjust to a new experience. And don't we all feel like that at one point? Please have fun with Paschimottanasana. Do not take it seriously. It will not be a big thing in your life if you are not successful. But if you enjoy it and you experience it and you allow some continuance of it at some point every now and again, well done. Enjoy the fear, embrace it, and remove it from your life. Thank you for returning again to Rhubarb.